Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday evening. I wanted to do a video based on some questions recently, but also I just think it's a good refresher. I know it always is a good refresher for me to go back, reread some research, reread some papers, and just kind of identify or make myself familiar again with all of the different things that are involved in soil health. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today was mycorrhizal fungi. So there's a lot of different fungi in the soil. There's a heck of a lot of really beneficial ones that help from the cycling of nutrients all the way to aggregate stability and nutrient communications with plants, etc. But today we're just going to focus high level mycorrhizal fungi. What is it? Mycorrhizal fungi is a fungi that is going to be, as you see in this picture behind me, this is a study from the USDA. If you type in what is glomalin, this article will come up, and it's a really good one. But as you can see here, it shows the root hairs, it shows the hyphae, which is part of the mycorrhizal fungi, going into the root hairs. There's a communication between the root exudation, so the root is giving the fungi sugars, root exudates, as the plant is photosynthesizing, in exchange for nutrients being solubilized and brought back through the fungal channels. So when you look at this, you can also see the word aggregate above. So there's aggregates being formed from the root exudation occurring, and also the exudates from the hyphae, or from the fungi. So what does that mean? Well, what happens is glomalin is created. Glomalin is a protein. It is a byproduct of fungi that's getting fed, and it's as Ray Archuleta calls it, a biotic glue. Glomalin is very stable, and as you can see in the picture, the soil, when it has glomalin in it, is going to give you that nice topsoil, dark, rich color. It's going to have aggregate stability, so that's that kind of clumpiness to it. And the bottom there, you'll see if it's when glomalin is removed. So I think they heat it up to remove it. If I remember correctly, it goes into further explain this in the article. But they heat it up, and it is essentially just like sand. So that's what's left. So why is glomalin important? Well, it is your biotic glues that are going to help hold the soil together. So you always want to make sure that your base saturations, your calcium, your magnesium, pH, those type of things are adequate from a chemical side. But now we're focusing on biology. And what does biology have to do with soil structure? Well, this is exactly what it has to do. You can create these biotic glues, whether you're in your heavy clay soil, where it's going to start to break that clay up a little bit, so it's not quite as dense, but it has better airflow and it's more well aggregated, or flocculated is a word that's commonly used, or in a sandy soil, right? Well, in sand, it's the opposite. Everything's going to rush through it. Well, through good biology, we can get it to the point where it's not rushing through, it's getting to be better well aggregated. And in order to do that, we want to focus on fungal, I don't want to say fungal dominated systems, but we certainly want to have a healthy population of fungi in our soils and in our soil profiles. Here's probably a little bit better example of the mycorrhizal pathway, as it's called. So maybe a little bit better than I could explain it in the previous video. But basically what you see here is that the plant is, you can see the mycorrhizal fungi, or the hyphae, that are going into the plant roots. The plant is giving root exudation to microbes, and through the fungal networks, there's additional communications that are going out, and then that's going out to solubilize through enzyme production, which the fungi is going to be producing enzymes and exudates that are going to then solubilize nutrients such as P, so really immobile nutrients, and it's going to be making those available and bringing them back to the plant. This is where people like Dr. Christine Jones really talk about phosphorus, and particularly how there's a lot of it in our soils, but a lot of it's unavailable. We can make it more bioavailable, or more plant available, by having systems that have higher levels of fungi. The problem is that fungi does not like disturbance. So when we till, specifically deep tillage, and it's all attached to those roots, it also needs a living root to keep well established, because it needs the root exudation. So if we're tilling always or fallowing fields and we don't have living roots, we're going to reduce our mycorrhizal fungi, which is going to reduce the ability for us to get the tied up phosphorus out of that soil profile and into our plants. So there are options. We sell an option on our website at vitalizeseed.com. This is one of our partners, Tenio Biologics, and they make it Spectrum plus Myco. There's a bunch of good bacteria in there, plus mycorrhizal fungi inoculant. So you put this on your seed, it acts as a seed coat, and it's like an insurance policy for making sure that you have that mycorrhizal fungi right on the cover crop seed. I use it on my tomato seeds, regular crop seed, food plot seed. It does not matter. When you're putting it on there so that when that plant gets established, that good bacteria and fungi are right there so it can immediately attach itself to the root and start expanding that network. So if you are using tillage or you've never inoculated a field before, or you just want to kind of expedite the process, for the cost, I mean, it's $45 covers an acre. And really, you just need to make sure that the seed has a dusting on it. I don't normally measure it out. I put, 2 or 3 bags inside of the spreader and or the drill and mix it up and make sure there's a nice coating. And I'm happy with that. And I've been happy with the visual observational benefits so far as well. So here's an example of a field I call High Point. It's really high up on top of a ridge, compaction, absolute perfect spot for compaction to occur. It had been an old logging deck. I've only had a no-till drill for a couple seasons now, so it's not like I've been no-till drilling this spot for many years, but I have been no-tilling here just using broadcast method. So I did use herbicide here. I've done broadcast and mowing here. I've done just broadcast and leave it on this particular field. I think it's been probably 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this here with really good success. I mean, as you can see, the root mass is getting to be pretty good. This was just one little spadeful that I picked out one day and happened to notice what appears to be a lot of really good root structure. You can see a lot of the white, which I would define as hype, and then you can also see that in a lot of those roots where the soil is really sticking it to those roots, which is called a rhizosheath or Rastafarian roots is often how it's referred to. And basically, it looks like dreadlocks. That's why they call it the Rastafarian roots. But that's really a good indication of sound microbial health and communication from the microbes to the plant and back. So really excited to see that. What causes that to stick is those biotic glues like we were talking about previously. So that's that good communication between photosynthetic capture and root exudation and those microbes coming back to the plant. So some other options and what I use on that field that I just showed you, other than just the Spectrum plus Myco, I also we have our Seed Armor plus Inoculant. That's essentially a humic-based rhizobium bacteria. So for all your legumes, it has all of that bacteria as well. With our Vitalized seed system, so if you buy Nitro Boost or Carbon Load, it's inside the bag already. You just have to put it onto the seed. We have a video on our website that shows you how to do that. But if you don't use our seed, you want to use it for your garden seeds, etc., that humics is going to help with germination and things like that. And then bacteria, again, same idea. We want to make sure that we have a good level of bacteria in our soil and microbes in our soil that are going to help to stimulate the biological processes so that we solubilize and take full advantage of those nutrients in that soil. So for those low fertility areas and programs, instead of going out and just broadcasting, say, triple 13, where we know a lot of the nitrogen is going to go back into the atmosphere, we know that the phosphorus is not going to move in the soil profile, and similarly, potassium is probably going to either move too quick in low CEC soils, or it's not going to move fast enough in heavier CEC soils. We had come up with a product called Seed Feed. It's just as it sounds. So not to be confused with our Seed Armor. Seed Feed is actually a food source, so NP, K, calcium, humic-based, etc., that's going to go right onto the seed. The reasons that's important, like, for example, using it in a no-till drill or in a broadcast spreader, it's just a light dusting onto that seed. It's going to allow that seed to then germinate, and they're soluble nutrients, so they're going to be right there to help that young germinating seed get off to a good start. It's going to help us to create more root mass, above ground and below ground biomass, and then having that good bacteria there from the Spectrum plus Myco as well as the Seed Armor, you're going to further drive those plants to get off to a healthy start and have really strong communications with the soil microbiome around them. So all in all, guys, if you want to increase soil structure, try to reduce tillage, and focus on fungal networks, and check out some of those products if that's of interest to you. There's other ones you can check out as well. And if you like this stuff, please share, follow along, and subscribe, vitalizeseed.com.